I love being a mom. I do. I'm a pretty good mom because the first decision that I had to make for my daughter, it was the right decision. My daughter, her due date was 9/11, and honestly, I was just like any other day, like literally any other day. She has a lot on her plate. She already has 2 moms. We don't need to give her a September 11th birthday. So I went in there and I told the doctor, I was like, hey, can we either like speed this up or really slow it down? And he was all for it in a way where I was like, this seems wrong. He's like, yeah, let's do this. He gave me all the drugs. I pushed so hard, I broke my body. I had so many stitches, couldn't walk for 6 weeks after. And my daughter was born at 11:45 p.m. on September 10th. Yeah, thank you. So, obviously 9/11 we will never forget, but unfortunately 9/10 is my pussy's 9/11.
It's not just us. A big part of being a bisexual is constantly being told you're not a bisexual, you're going through a phase, you're just whimsical. Oh, aye, that's me, whimsy down a T. So for years, I tried to get on board with the idea I was a straight woman that just had sex with an awful lot of women. Never thought I was a bisexual. I just thought I was a legend.
I also, from time to time, I can look like a failed older gay writer. I love that. The failed writer look, and for me, that's aspirational because I've never tried. And there's something romantic to me about being a like one of these over-the-hill writers who's like, I used to be important. I wrote novels and screenplays, and it's not me who grew more conservative. It's the rest of the country who got too liberal. My ideas are normal. My right-wing gay ideas, why aren't they tolerated? I was rudely thrown out of a Vanity Fair party because I refused to use people's pronouns. Why should a man of letters be burdened with pronouns?
Like gay people can typically look back at their childhood or their adolescence and they can point to a moment that was like undeniably gay, right? Like I was born this way. Like when I dressed up as Scully from the X-Files for 4 Halloweens in a row. Okay, that was very lesbian, right? There was a boy in high school who, when everyone went around and said their celebrity crush, he said Anne Hathaway. That's gay. That is a gay boy pretending to be straight. No straight guy in high school was picking Anne Hathaway from the Princess Diaries. No.
I'm out to everybody. Coming out was its own process, its own brave fucking process. Coming out is not easy, especially the further in life you are, I think. I don't know. Like, I was a bro-y dude for a really long time. And I came out like a bro would too, you know? I came out to my dad at a Buffalo Wild Wing. And that's the thing. Same? Did someone just say same? Holy shit. What a cool marketing opportunity for Buffalo Wild Wing.
No one ever believes me that I'm gay. In fact, when I first started comedy, there was a rumour going round that I was lying. Rumours, man, it's horrible. Like, I think a lot of comedians thought I'd lie about my sexuality to make myself more diverse. Like I've looked in the mirror and gone, straight, white, male. Fuck! Yes! Which one of those would be the easiest to deny?
I'm going to talk about cuckolding now. And I'm going to make you guys watch. Cuckolding, if you don't know, I can see people looking at me going, uh-oh. I better not laugh, because if I laugh, people are going to start thinking I cuckold as well. All right, cuckolding, if you don't know, is when you find it hot watching your partner having sex with somebody else. It's quite an odd psychological thing because you're literally watching the worst case scenario pan out in front of you and your response is just to wank. It's quite a common theme through my life, if I'm completely honest. It's usually why I spend the first 5 minutes of a funeral in the toilet. Okay. Fair enough. But it's true, right? It's such a weird thing, right? I get that people might be judging me, and you shouldn't actually. It's actually really common, right? I know none of you know what cuckolding is, but it's really common, right? Get this statistic. I swear this is 100% true, right? Cuckolding is actually the #1 Google search on my laptop. But I'm seeing a therapist about it, and yeah, she's blunt. She's like, you know what your problem is? You're not feeling your feelings. You're just feeling insecurity, and you're masturbating to cover up the insecurity. I'm like, yeah, what's wrong with that? Everybody wins. Because she's saying that I'm basically avoiding my real feelings and I'm disassociating. I think disassociation is great, right? Because first of all, you can either wank or you can joke about feelings. That's what I usually do, joking. And she was like, no joking about your feelings, Larry. You gotta feel them. And she's Northern Irish, by the way. I know it's not a great Northern Irish accent, and it's just weird having a Northern Irish therapist because I'm having to tell a Northern Irish person about my troubles. But the thing is, see, when it comes to doing jokes about your feelings, it gets frowned upon, but I think jokes are great because, see, you can actually learn a lot about someone by the jokes they tell, and if you can actually learn from jokes as well. Like, when you look at a joke closely, because me and Paul will write jokes together about personal stuff, and I'm like, hey, I get to have a laugh about it, and so do the audience, and they get to go, oh yeah, I do that as well, actually, yeah. And I said this to my therapist, and she's now starting telling me jokes, because I find it easier to understand a joke than I do my actual feelings, and I'm learning a lot from it. She told me this belter, right? You can always tell your dog loves you more than your partner, because if you put your dog and your partner in the boot of a car together, leave them overnight, open the boot in the morning, which one of them is happier to see you? When I heard that, my brain was going, that's a funny joke, we need to remember that, guys, that's great. And my heart was going, I was gonna go away on holiday for the breakup. I'm that fanny of a friend, you know, the one that's like, oh, I don't need him anymore. What I need is to pack my bags and go over and rediscover myself on top of a mountain and then come back to Glasgow with no money and all the exact same problems waiting for me when I get home. Because I wanted to go to America, right? That's where I went on my last breakup. I went to America because with a Scottish accent, they make you feel special. I was in California and I went to do Pilates every day, right, because I wanted to get fit. And the second day I got there, right, to the Pilates studio, the lady behind the reception came out to me, physically, and she was like... she was like, hey, Larry, thanks for coming in again today. Ooh, 5 minutes early, second day in a row. Good job. I have a query. And I was like, you're not allowed to call me that anymore. She was like, I have a query. The ladies in the class before you heard that there's a Scottish guy coming in again today, and they've freaked out. Would you mind saying hi to them? They're of an older generation, and they've never met someone from Scotland before. They're actually so excited they've missed the bus the old people's home just to say hi. And my head and my heart are having another argument at this point, because my heart is going, oh my God, old people, I love old people. And my brain is going, fuck. I've got to represent Scotland here. I don't think I'm the Scotland that these people are after. They don't want train spot in Scotland. They want groundskeeper Willie, Scotland. So I went, oh yeah, I'd love to meet these ladies, right? And the lady behind the was like, oh my God, that's so exciting. Okay, well, just wait there. I'm gonna go grab my camera, thanks. And she just glided out of the way. And I just saw like 8 old ladies waiting to talk to me. And I went, hello. It's like a sim, like snoo. And when I says hello, right, they all turned into, like, you know in Toy Story, the wee green aliens? Because when I says hello, they all went, oh. Stranger from the outside, tell us about your planet. Oh yeah, by the way, when I said Groundskeeper Willie is my favourite Simpsons character, and Toy Story with the wee green aliens, Toy Story is my favourite Tom Hanks film. I'm just letting you know where all the in-jokes are. My therapist was like, don't go to America. I was like, fuck, what do I do? She was like, work on yourself. I know I'm making her sound more aggressive than she is, but my therapist gets proper angry with me. Like, she genuinely hit herself in the head because I was not sticking to a topic and not feeling my feelings. She went, for God's sake, Larry, stick to one story at a time. And I went, did you just hit yourself in the head? She went, I only hit myself because I'm not allowed to hit you. And she has got a point, to be fair. I do that a lot. That might be able to tell.
2020 wasn't all bad for me, by the way. I got married. I got married in 2020 to my beshert, my soulmate, my husband, Leo. Now, I was told I don't give off a gay vibe. Azoy ze zukt. That's what they told me. Now, I didn't know this until a few months ago. Leo and I live in Manhattan, a big building with 1 million people in it, and a lot of gossip. A lot of gossip. Lashon hara, evil tongue. And the woman that's in charge of all of this gossip lives on our floor. I'm not gonna mention her name, Sharon Berkowitz. 9F, right when you make the turn. 2 months ago, she corners me in the elevator and says, I don't know if you've heard, but the lawyer that bought the apartment above yours is a homosexual. I said, Sharon, you're kidding me. I've been banging him for 3 months. I had no idea he's a lawyer. Sharon's been avoiding me lately. My husband's younger. He's 10, 12 years younger, 22 years younger. A millennial. Any millennials here? Yes, yeah. He's a millennial, but he says you're welcome. Most millennials don't. They all say thank you, but they never say you're welcome. They say, no worries. First time I got hit with a no worries, I was buying coffee. I hand my card to the kid behind the counter, and I said, thank you. He said, no worries. I said, do I look worried? No worries, and I can. I can. I'm so happy, I can. I'm so sad, I can. Leo doesn't say I can't, and he always says you're welcome. Yes, yeah. Funny things happen when there's a big age gap. First time I brought him to my mother's house, he sees my graduation picture. My mom clocks it and says, that's when he was your age. My mom loves my husband, loves him. My mom doesn't feel like she lost a son, she gained a grandchild. And I love being married. I love it. Who here's married and happily married? Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. It's official. There's a license. There's insurance. There's paperwork. There's joint accounts. Your name's on everything. People always ask me, do you think he married you for your money? I said, are you insane? I married him for technical support. I'm living with a Genius Bar. I don't know how to use my phone. The other day he said to me, share your location. I said, I'm right here. So how do I share my? He goes, go into I said, I can't. He said, just give it to me. That's my favorite thing to hear. Just give it to me. Here you go. I can't. Just give it to me. We definitely have generational differences, that's for sure. I love cash. I love cash. I always have cash on me, and I have cash hidden all over the house. And he doesn't get it. What's with the cash? I go, you gotta have cash. Why? In case the Nazis come. He says, what do you need cash for the Nazis? I said, you can't Venmo the guard. What are you gonna Apple Pay the guy? Was that SS Schultz at thirdreich.gov with an open closed gate emoji? You gotta have cash. Millennials don't know. They don't know how to schmear. They don't know how to tip. They don't know any of that. No! Millennials don't know how to tip. They don't know how to tip, and they also don't know how to receive a tip. Leo took me to Trader Joe's. You been to this? It's a supermarket with a boat dock theme. We're in there, I got the cart, little red cart, and I bought everything. Everything was $1.69. I took everything. Try these, bring 2 of this, a pizza, cookies, that almond milk for nothing. I got to the cashier, I looked like a Ukrainian refugee fleeing. I get to the cashier and they... And believe me, if you would have seen them, you'd understand that they are a they, and gesund to hate, they should live long and be well. They had absolutely no counter space to undo my cart, none. A 6-inch piece of plywood in the shape of an oar, that's all they had. But somehow they did it magically. They made pyramids and they took things underneath and put them back under. It was so amazing and so friendly. Did you find everything you were looking for? I said, I found things I wasn't looking for. Oh, you should try these. They were amazing. I said, I can't wait to try. Let me know if you... I said, I'll come back Thursday. I'll give you a call. I had a new best friend. And they packed it all up in these amazing bags. Have you seen those bags? The cardboard with handles. It was amazing. I had to give a tip. $20 because it's them. I pulled the cash out and they had a panic attack. Ah! Cash, that's triggering! Ding, 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 ding. There's a bell there. Ding, 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 ding. The fire department showed up. The manager came over. They're on the floor having a seizure. Manager goes, what happened? I said, I wanted to give him a tip. He says, we're not allowed to accept tips, but thank you. I said, no worries. They looked worried.
Y'all are you're not even gonna believe this. Okay. I read a story, and I'm gonna read it. I just want you to, ma'am, can you just look at, just make sure that's a real story. I didn't make this up. Okay, it's a real thing. FBI seizes over 3,000 penises during a raid at a morgue employee's home. I'm gonna say that shit again. FBI seizes over 3,000 penises during raid at morgue employee's home. It sounds like Florida, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yeah. But it's not, y'all. It's Houston, Texas. Yeah. Which makes you wonder why they passed a ban on abortions when somebody's clearly hoarding all the dicks. That just seems like unnecessary legislation to me. I clicked on the article because I want to give y'all the facts. And as I read the article, y'all, the article stated several times that the fella kept the penises in jars. Like that was the burning question in all of our minds. How's he keeping them fresh? What does he have, saran wrap or Ziploc bags, Tupperware? Jars. I'm gonna guess pickle jars. That's just what makes sense to me. Because as I kept reading it, I kept thinking to myself, if I were to collect some part of a man, and I think we can all tell by this haircut, that's never gonna fucking happen. But if I were to collect some part of a man, I wouldn't want your penis. I'd want your little balls. Right? You can fit a bunch of balls in a jar. Hell, that could be the game at your next birthday party. Guess how many balls is in my jar? Because I'm from the South, y'all. I know you can hear it in my voice. I'm from the South, and men in the South are very connected to their balls. It's a very important part of their life. I'll give you an example. I was talking to my brother the other day. I told him I was going to do some gigs in Hawaii. My brother says, Hawaii? Shit, girl. I'd give my left nut for that. You've heard men say that, right? They give their left nut for that. Is that a currency somewhere? Is there someplace just accepting left nuts for goods? Because it's always their left nut. They always want to part. Y'all never want to get rid of that right nut, do you? No. And I think your nuts hear that. That's what I believe. I believe your nuts hear it. I have a little theory. I'm going to test it out. Ma'am, is this your husband? Yes, all right. So you've seen this nut. Okay. So here's my theory. Here's what I think. I think his right nut is probably swinging low, right? It's got some swagger. It's got some confidence. It knows it's not going anywhere, right? But his little left nut is like scared up in the corner, right? Because it knows if this asshole wants anything bad enough, he's just going to clip him loose. So here's what I suggest. Later on, when y'all are having your special time, just very gently with your left hand, just go right to it, right? Just give a little bounce at first, a little bounce. And then just gently, just start to kind of pull it down, right? And let it know it's okay to come down and join his brother, right? And later on, sir, when you're getting your nuts tugged, you remember Jen Kober did that for you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I quickly want to tell you a side story because we don't have time for it. So my wife's grandmother, Phyllis, she's 96 years old, and she died in December, I know. 96 is a good age to get to, right? Yeah, as a cricket fan, I would have loved to have seen her get to 100. She played off the front foot all the time. Avoided a few LBWs, if you know what I mean. But 96 is a good age. She was born on the family farm. She was raised on the family farm. She had all her kids on the family farm. And then she died on the family farm at 96. But the minute she died, everyone was like, she's gone to be with Stanley, her late husband. Let me tell you about Stanley. I've never met Stanley. Because Stanley died suddenly from a massive heart attack at the age of 42 on the back paddock. They said he was dead before he hit the ground, right? Now, Stanley was a wildly attractive man. You know those people, when you see their photos, you're like... Like, it's just on the farm, like the wedding photo. You know, the normal old people photos, there's three. There's him with a young guy, a young man, and a button-down shirt, and then the wedding photo, and that was that. But I look at those photos, and I'm like, whew. You know when someone's so hot, you start questioning your choices? And then you remember being gay is not a choice. He was a wildly attractive man, prime of his life, then he dies, now he's in the prime of his death. So how it works when you die is you still look exactly the way you look now, you're just see-through. So it's fact, like, I'm not making this shit up. There's a documentary on Netflix, you can go watch it. It's called Casper. Some of you have seen it. No, so you still look exactly like you do now, you just see through. Some of you are sitting in here tonight and you go, I'm fat and ugly, I'm going to kill myself. Don't. Don't. Stay here, you're just going to be fat, ugly and see through on the other side. And they don't have biscuits for us there. Stay here, let's make skinny people uncomfortable. I have a little thing to entertain myself before I get on a long haul flight. When I walk into the plane and you see people, those skinny people watching, no. I just go in there, I'm just in the middle there. And I go, I'm fucking with you, I'm up in business. But anyway, so Stanley's dead. Now, he goes to heaven. And when you get to heaven, this is how it works. You get to heaven. And in heaven, they have all these pods, right? Like party pods. Like they've got the party pod. What? Everyone's making shit up about the place. Give me a go, all right? So you have the party pod where all the hot people go to party, right? Then next to it, you've got like the knitting pod, you've got the finger painting pod. Whatever you're into, there's a pod for you, okay? So Stanley gets to heaven and God says to him, Stanley, you're a wildly attractive man. You get to go in the party pod. And he goes, no thanks. Because he's read the articles. He's seen the things on telly. He knows. He loved Phyllis so and she loved him so that she's going to be there any minute. And he says, nah, I'm going to wait for Phyllis. And God says, are you sure about that, Stanley? Because I've got a book in the back. I'm kind of running this joint. And Stanley goes, nah, I'm going to go ahead and wait. And God says to him, you do you, boo. As it says in Leviticus. And I haven't read the whole book. I'm sort of just loosely quoting here. So Stanley starts waiting. Yeah, I'm new. It's weird, I'm see-through here. He had a pie before. After a few years, he realizes Phyllis isn't coming. And he can hear the party pod is going off. Then he thinks, you know, Phyllis is a wildly attractive woman herself. She's probably remarried to get someone to help her with the kids. He then joins the party pod. And at this point, Stanley starts hammering ghost pussy. Like, no one has hammered ghost pussy in the history of ghost pussy. Right, he is going hammer and tongs, as they say. So one day there's an announcement. Stanley, can you come to the gate, please? That's Stanley to the pearly gates, thank you. So Stanley leaves the pod and he goes, hey, you keep that ghost pussy on ice for me, I'll be right back, all right? He gets to the pearly gates and who's there but Phyllis? He gets a fright naturally. She has shrunk 3 foot. Yeah. I was like, holy shit, global warming is real. So Phyllis, who never remarried, never even removed her wedding bands, has waited for Stanley all these years. And she's ready to reconnect. She's frothing to reconnect. Stanley says to her, at ease, Phyllis. I've been hammering ghost pussy for decades. I'm not ready for fossil pussy just yet. So I guess all I'm saying is you can work at your relationship as much as you like, but as soon as your partner drops dead, he's going to be hammering ghost pussy in heaven. Or ghost dick. There's ghost dick too. And that looks bigger because it's see-through. And it's better when it's see-through because you can see it coming. Not going to surprise you in the eye with that one. I'm just saying relationships are hard. That's all I'm saying. I want you to answer this for yourself internally. Take this home. Would you, knowing what you know today, and with the path that you have walked in your marriage, would you get married again if you knew how often you'd be fighting about towels? I think every major argument in a marriage can be tracked back to towels. You think she's fighting about, your spending or it's not that. It's because you left a towel on the floor. The amount of times it's yelled in a marriage, who used the good towels? Why are you using that towel? Don't use that, that's the dog's towel. Stop touching that towel. Pick up that towel. Why is this towel wet? Why is that towel too dry? Why does this towel smell like that? Why can I break this towel in half? There's so much. I am so triggered by towels. I'm not even lying. I have once seen a whole lot of towels in the dryer and I told my wife that I had a gig out of town and I left for the weekend in the hopes that she would sort it out before I got back. Because I can't handle the stress. And you're like, you're so tense. I start folding the towels and she just walks past. That's not how we fold towels in this house. Like, my relationship's not perfect, because I'm a touring comic, so I'm on the road about 300 days of the year, and we travel as a pack. So right in the beginning, my wife said to me she's scared of flying, which is a huge problem because that's how we do it. Because it's not 1912. But, I'm nothing if not supported. So what I would do, if I know we have a flight in the morning, I would go look up the safety specs of that plane. I would look up all of the details. I go, it's ATR 72, it's the safest plane in their fleet. This is how many seats, this is the quietest seat, this is the one with the most recline, that's where the toilet's located. I even make shit up about the pilot. Because I don't know why they keep introducing themselves. They're not famous. No one gives a shit. No other job on the planet. You don't get to the supermarket and they go, welcome to checkout number 3. We've got Stacey here checking out today on the Olympus 3000. Now, the conveyor is running at roughly 0.0029 kilometers an hour. Yeah, your loyalty card don't mean shit. You want to sign up? Well, recently I flew to Dublin and they were real casual with the introduction of the pilots. They just came on and go, g'day, today, well, not with that accent. Today we've got Alana and Matthew flying into Dublin. And I looked around and not one person even lifted their heads off their phones that were supposed to be in flight mode at that time. Anyway, I do all of that shit for her. I mean, not anymore. I've now recorded all of the audio notes. So So before we get on a flight, I just airdrop her that shit. If you've got an Android phone, you're going to have to Google what that is. What she said to me, she goes, you know what, I'm not scared of flying. I'm scared of crashing. Yes. We all are. When we're in the nosedive into the fucking Pacific, no one's going, fuck yeah! We're going directly into a mountain. Fuck yeah! Matthew and Alana getting it done today. No! We're all scared. That's why the brace position is this. So you can shit up your own back. That brace position is not a life-saving measure. You see people look at the cards and go, that's not going to help. They only want that. Because once the plane has crashed, there are people who have to go around after they've put out the fire to pick up body parts, right? And it's usually your teeth that's left. And they have to put that in a little baggie for testing. That's why you're doing it in the front, so they don't have to go sift through piles of shit for the teeth. The whole Boeing is not designed very well for a crash. Like, you know you're not going to survive. Like, quickly make some noise if you've survived a plane crash. Do you see what I'm saying? Why even bother with the safety features? We're going to fucking die. Let's make this shit fun. The first thing they say, like, you know, we're about to crash. What do they give? What drops down from above your head? Oxygen. You know what oxygen does for your brain? Wakes you the fuck up. It wakes you up. You have crystal clear thoughts. You can remember stuff. You can remember your own birth. You're so wide awake and so alert. My mum was right all these years. You're going to be wide awake when your anus slowly curls over your brainstem. I've applied for a job at Boeing. Because I reckon the first thing, if they know we're going to crash, there should be a button that pops out in the headdress in front of you. A little mouthpiece with, you know, that clay from the dentist that you have to bite into. So that when they retrieve that, they can just do it with those tongs that you see people... 27, I ain't never flossed a day in her life. Once that thing sets, then automatically from above you, where the oxygen used to live, a bag of cocaine drops down. Yeah. Even if you've never tried cocaine in your life, shove your whole head in that bag and inhale. You're still gonna die, but fuck, you're gonna believe in yourself. We've got this! Head in the line on Matthew, let's go! But then she said to me, she goes, look, it's not the crashing even that frightens me. I'm like, fuck, all right, what's left? It's not the cuisine. She goes, it's that bit when you're flying and you must realize this plane is going to crash. Till when it actually impacts. She goes, that can be seconds, it can be minutes, we don't know, because no one's alive to talk about it. But she goes, that's the thing that scares me. That is my darkest moment. That's the thing that gives me anxiety, that gives me panic attacks. And then she asked me to do something, and I'm going to share it with you now, and it's going to sound weird when it hits your ear holes. But just push through and sit with it, okay? She made me promise. She said, if we're ever on a plane together and we realise this plane is about to crash, she goes, I want you to kill me. I told you it's going to hit weird. But hear it. When I heard that, I thought, wow, she trusts me, the person that she loves most in the world. This is before we had children. Now she'll use me as a human shield at a Costco sale. But she trusts me enough that when she's in her darkest moment that I will remove her from that. And I thought that was really romantic. Initially. But then it hit me. I'm on that plane too. But I don't get to experience any terror because I've got one more fucking chore to do. It got to a point we can fly domestic, like we'll fly Sydney to Melbourne. As soon as I get on the plane, I start making a shiv. We hit a bit of turbulence. I've already stabbed her twice. She's like, I'm not even scared. It's just turbulence. I'm like, die, bitch, die! So we got a divorce.
My husband's a sweet dude. Like, he's seriously, like, he's a really good guy. Like, he's obsessed with me. Ew, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm the worst. You know, I'm like, gross, stop. You know? And like, in the pandemic, it was so cute. He was like, babe, I got an idea. Like, once the pandemic's over, like, I feel like we fell in love again. I was like, gross. He's like, why don't we renew our vows? I was like, okay, first off, I'm not even pregnant this time. Stop. He's like, no, seriously, like, we should do it. We should, like, do a destination wedding. I was like, okay, I'll do it, but this time it's got to be a final destination wedding. And maybe, like, you don't come back. Sign this paperwork. One of the craziest parts of the pandemic for us, though, anyone in here do the pandemic with a roommate? Oh, okay, I'm the only one that made poor life choices? Okay, forget you guys. So yeah, my husband and I, we had a roommate, and I don't know, like, if this is the proper term, but she was trash. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of, like, millennial garbage person. Like, she was just the worst, you know what I mean? Like, she's one of those people that would eat the last of your stuff and then not replace it. What kind of animal eats the last of the Fruit Loops and then doesn't go buy more Fruit Loops? I would come home late feeling kind of peckish, you know what I mean? I get the bowl, I get the spoon, I get the milk, I get the Fruit Loops. I turn over the box. You know what that sound is? It's Fruit Loop dust. What kind of monster leaves Fruit Loop dust and doesn't have enough respect to leave a straw and a razor blade in there so I could Okay, all right. That was just a little tip check. Okay. Meet me in the bathroom, y'all. Couple Fruit Loop users in here. Yeah, she's a monster. And she's like one of those people that doesn't speak English. And not like I don't mind other languages, but she speaks hashtag. What? Hashtag good morning. Hashtag blast. I'm like, hashtag bitch die in a fire. That's trending in my kitchen right now. She loves selfies. Let's take a selfie. Wanna take a selfie? And she's always sending her selfies to me like I haven't seen her. You know what I mean? One day I'm out and I'm like, you know, at a show or whatever, and my phone buzzes. I'm like, ooh, who's that? And I open it up. It's a selfie of her and my husband snuggled on my sofa, watching the TV I got for my birthday, cuddled up under the blanket my dead grandmother made me. Yeah, and she captions it, hashtag movie night. That's how many E's she put in a word that doesn't have an E in it. I sent her back a hashtag. You guys should follow it. It's super easy to remember. You don't need to write it down. I sent it a hashtag so she could, like, understand it. And it was a hashtag, bitch, I don't think you know how black women work. I'm gonna fuck you up when I get home. I play a lot, but I don't play about my husband, whore. You see that smear in my closet? Wakanda forever. The one thing we did right, I will civil rights march on you. Hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. That was the hashtag. It's very easy to remember. Here's the wildest thing she ever did. So one night, I'm excited to go home and get in bed because my husband's out of town. And I know how mean that sounds, but I see some couples in here, and anyone in here, if you sleep with the same person, night after night after night, you know the best gift they can give you, right? Is an argument. Ugh. About 15, 20 minutes before bedtime. Yes. Fuck you, bitch. I'm sleeping on the sofa. No, don't, babe. Please don't. No. Stay. So I get home. I'm excited. I take a sexy shower. Ladies, we've all done this, you know? Just sitting on a toilet, naked, drinking wine. And when I finish crying, I get in bed, she's in my bed, asleep, wearing my vintage Guns N' Roses t-shirt. I was like, welcome to the jungle. What are you doing right now? Get out of my room. Now here's where I'm gonna lose everybody, I'm pretty sure. And this is not a joke, this is real life. She's never paid rent. Okay, gasp at your mother, not me, okay? Seriously, she's never paid rent, and like in the pandemic, dug her heels in, you know what I mean? Here's the craziest part, I confront her every month, like, hey girl, where is my rent money? And she uses the same excuse every month. How do you do that? I can't go to work and be like, dude, remember like 6 months ago when my dad died? That nigga died again. Like you can't use the same excuse over and over. But she would do it. I'd be like, hey girl, where's my rent money? And she'd be like, mommy, stop telling people I'm your roommate. I'm only 12 years old. I can't help you and broke ass daddy. Like what a bitch, right? She's the worst. Herpes is not the only lifelong STD. She's a character. She's been ruining my life since she crawled out of my womb. I kid you not. For the first 3 years, I did nothing but care for her. Like, I didn't go out with friends. I didn't do anything. I was just with her nonstop. And then around age 3, my girlfriends called me up. They're like, bitch, we're going out? They're Caucasian. I don't know if that came through. We are going to get fucked up. I was like, yes, please. So they come over, and we're drinking some Chard, right, as you do. And I say to her, I'm like, hey, pumpkin, run upstairs, go in the bathroom, get me my makeup case. And this is the first thing she ruined for me, which was my husband's penis. I know I'm gonna explain this is not an R. Kelly situation. And so we hear her going up the stairs, bing, 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 so cute, right? And then we hear a blood-curdling scream, and we hear the door slam. I had forgotten that my husband was in the shower. He's black, I'm not humble bragging, it's relevant to the story. But thank me for my cervix. And anyway, we hear her come running down the stairs. Brrr, and she comes busting into the kitchen. She's like, Mommy, oh my God, you have to come quick. Something's wrong with Daddy. I said, what is it? Is he dead? She's like, no, it's worse. I said, wait a minute. Is he broke? What happened? Did you see his credit score? What's going on? She said, no. I said, what? She said, Daddy's naked. And I saw him from the front. I think Daddy is pooping from the front. What? That is called poo-poo penis, and no thank you. I do not want that, sir. Now let's fast forward a year. Now she's 4. She's a woman of the world, and she's got questions. She's all up in my face with it, right? She's like, Mommy, where do babies come from? crap. And I'm like, okay, go get a pen and paper. I'll draw you some diagrams. So I drew some O's, I drew some phallopes. You need that, right? I drew like 10, 12, maybe 13 shots of Hennessy, because we know how mistakes are made. And then I drew a single sperm. My husband freaks out about this. He's like, why would you draw a single sperm for a 4-year-old? I was like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. Should I have pumped some lotion in my hand, smeared it on my face, and explained to her, this is what it looks like when you see it in college for the first time. Would that have been, oh, we got lots of college grads, okay. So when I finish explaining everything to her, she says to me, okay, mommy, let me get this straight. So the mom has the eggs in her tummy. I said, yeah. And the dad has the seeds. I said, yeah. And the dad takes the seeds, puts them into the mommy's tummy. It fertilizes the egg and grows a baby. I said, nailed it. Psh, up top, let's go get some ice cream, right? She said, wait a minute. I have follow-up questions. Crap. How does the dad get the seeds into the mommy's tummy? Then she said the most horrifying sentence I've ever heard come out of a toddler's mouth. It was so terrifying, I heard it in slow motion. She said, does she swallow them? So now, ladies and gentlemen, I am in a kerfuffle. I have a very important decision that I need to make in a matter of seconds. Am I, a responsible adult, curating the mind of an impressionable child, or am I a comedian? Judging from the laughter this evening, I think we can all agree that I'm a comedian. So what I said was, no, sweetheart, does she swallow them? No, see, what we're talking about is how to make a baby. What you seem to be thinking of is how to make a husband. It's a very, very similar process. And you will have someone suckling on your teats for 18 years. I love her though. She's great. I love my daughter. She's super gay. That's probably my favorite thing about her. She's such a homo. It's so fantastic. Seriously, she came out at 10 years old. Right, that's crazy. 10 years old, she knew who she was as a human. When I was 10, I didn't even know who my father was. That's crazy. She knew who she was. I'll never forget it though. It was pretty funny. She comes in my room. She's 10 years old. She's like, Mommy, I need to talk to you. I need you to not freak out about it. I was like, dude, what is it? Are you gay? She goes, oh my God. How did you know? I said, bro, only a lesbian would be this angry at 10 years old. You have a very comfortable situation here. There's nothing for you to be this upset about. Happy Pride, by the way. This is the end of Pride Month, right? I don't technically celebrate this late in the month because I'm only bi, so I have to stop on the 15th, but Happy Pride to all you full gays out there. When I think about it, I have a pretty queer family. My daughter's gay, I'm bi and non-binary, and my husband is questioning my authority all the time, and it's just really taking me to the edge. It's it's funny because we've been together for a while, and for a long time actually, and he just recently realized that I'm non-binary, right? And he's like, and the first thing he said, he goes, "Wait a minute, does that make me gay?" I said, "Oh no, honey, that's not what makes you gay." And I'm actually kidding. I didn't really say that. It made me feel a little uncomfortable and a little disconcerted, a little weird. Like, how could I be with this person for so long and not realize they had these weird, deep-seated, homophobic ideologies just kind of bubbling beneath the surface? You know what I mean? Like, how weird is it for you to think that my gender identity is somehow tied to your sexuality? And so what I actually said to him, I was like, "No, sir. Me being non-binary does not make you gay. It makes you a faggot, and that's a little bit different." It's a little different. I'm very proud of the fact that I think I may have made the gayest person on earth. I think my daughter is the most lesbian that's ever lesed a lesbian. No, but here's why. Hear me out. You'll go with me on this. She came to me one day and sat me down. I was like, "I need to ask you something." I'm like, "Oh my God, it sounds deep. What's up?" And she's like, "You're bi, right?" I was like, "Yeah." And then she goes, "So why a man?" What? I was like, "Dude, that man is your biological father. Without him, you literally don't exist." And without missing a beat, she goes, "Yeah, so why a man?" What a bitch. So, do you hear that though? Do you understand what she's saying? She's so gay that she is willing to snuff out her very existence just for me to be with a woman? What? That, ladies and gentlemen, is not an ally. No, that's an accomplice.